The Fly Fifer podcast. Let's talk. Your chat, your way. This episode is sponsored by J. Couriers, the people who care for your delivery.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on when you're watching or listening. Welcome to yet another episode of the Fly Fifer podcast. Today I'm gathered with a lovely bunch of ladies from Fife, and these lovely ladies are kinship carers. So kinship caring does affect what percentage of families do you know? Where the percentages are with that? Doesn't matter if you don't. But anyway, it's very close to my own family. We have kinship carers in my family. So I guess for me it's just who, what, when, where, why, as I said earlier. And seeing as you're right beside me, we might as well find out who you are first and what your situation is. Go for it. I'm shy. Do you want to move on? You got a burp? You got a fart? Don't need any of that. Right, go. Next.
Hiya, my name is Shona. I've been
Shona.
a kinship carer for 25 years. My granddaughter's 25 and my grandson's 16 and the youngest is Ellie, she's 10. And back then there wasn't a great deal of social work involvement at the beginning. And I had my granddaughter on and off for years with no legal order. And then...
Let's backpedal a wee bit for somebody that doesn't understand kinship care. Let's go right back to, where's kinship care come from? What is kinship care? What?
It's relatives taken or looking after or being placed with children and families. Could be aunties, uncles.
Right.
Daughter was my daughter. That's her three that I've got.
Right, okay.
And it's way back a long year. But then she was only 13 when she was pregnant. She had Sheldon when she was just turned 14.
Right.
And I could see it wasn't working. And then...
Kids having kids.
Kids having kids. And then, because she was that age, my husband had to support her.
Right.
And then I did have to phone the social work once back then. But I felt so bad that our own mother could report her that when the social work came out, I lied and I said everything was all right. Then she went on to have another one, my grandson Lennon, and I could see things weren't working. So I had to phone them again, and then he was removed and put in my care at 3 months old. And everything just plodded along. I was a bit younger then, 47, and I worked Fife Council full-time, 25 years I worked with them, and I had to be off my work for 6 months, and social work got childcare in place, so I had to go part-time. And then things were just plodding along again, and then 7 years later she had another one.
Right.
And I never seen this other one, I never met her because we fell out, we done a lot of that. And there was a serious incident involving the youngest when she was 9 months old. And I'm not going to that because it's harrowing. And it was like 23rd of February, 9.5 years ago, got a phone call saying, "Got your granddaughter here." And by the time I got along to my sons and my daughters who lived next door, the police, ambulance service, everybody was there, and she just had to sign her over to me there and then.
Right.
So along came Ellie, and she just fitted in like she belonged there.
Well, why would she know she's at her granny's, eh?
I know, our grannies, but I hadn't met her before, hadn't set eyes on us. And then again, we had to wait a few months till the social work got the childcare in place, and they paid for that until she went to the school nursery. The hardest thing for me, being the main primary carer, because my husband works all shifts, was my life being restricted.
Yeah.
I was back to nursery, sleepless nights, although Lennon was only 7 when she came. And whatever plans I had were out the window.
Yeah. So I guess kinship care can come for multiple reasons. There could be a death in the family, addiction, which is probably the more common. Various other, is there any other out with addiction and death that a family member would become a kinship carer? I guess no, really.
No,
I
don't think so. You've covered everything.
Right.
No maternal instincts.
Sorry, go on.
No maternal instincts.
Right, okay. Well, look, if you didn't mind, we'll move on, seeing as, and just, who are you? Why are you here today? What's your situation? If you care to let it go, let's get it out.
My name's Catherine. My son's had a baby girl with his girlfriend 6 months prior to the wee one being born. Kinship was put in. I did all the assessments, passed them all. And then when she was born on the 30th of May, she was handed straight over to me. So I went to the hospital, paperwork was signed by me and my kinship social worker.
Right.
Which I was very lucky that she was on shift that night. I had to stay in the hospital for the night with the wee one, and then I brought her home the following day.
Mm.
The mother had addiction problems, no maternal instincts. She just didn't care.
Right.
There was actually absolutely nothing there. So I took her. I was getting on a bit. I'm no any spring chicken.
Uh-huh.
But I took her. It changed my life, as in sleepless nights, bringing her up, doing everything that she needed. I was a single parent, bringing her up with my other two on my own. She's thriving. She does everything she should do.
So you were already a single mum, and then through no fault of your own, your son's partner, and then you ended up with their child, essentially, your son's child, essentially. Let's face it.
My son couldn't have him due to other reasons.
Other reasons, right?
Which wasn't addiction or anything. It was just something that happened.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I've had the support that I needed as and when
Right.
I needed it. They've been brilliant.
Aye.
And she's actually thriving.
Good. We've got loads more questions. It's good to hear that part. You ready this time? It's all on you. No pressure.
My name's
Thump
Linda.
me. You're allowed to thump me. Don't worry about it. Your name's, sorry, go for it.
My name's Linda. I'm a kinship carer to my grandson, who's my daughter's boy. I've got kinship care of him because of domestic abuse and drug abuse. It's hard. I was in a full-time job. I've got 6 kids of my own. They were all grown up. But I certainly wouldn't change it.
Right. How long have you had your...
I've had him for he was 8 months.
Faye was 8 months,
Aye.
right, okay. There's quite a theme at the table here then, so looking at it, it's addiction all round. Whatever the addiction is, doesn't matter.
And domestic abuse.
Right, so there's a bit of domestic abuse as well. What's the most common struggle yous came into straight away? Was it the initial bam? Now I've got another burn. I thought my time was done, maybe for used to, and then you've got 2 your own anyway, and it's like right now I've got another one.
It was going back to the baby stage.
Right, okay.
Sleepless nights and...
And being like us all here, we're all slightly a wee bit older, we're more mature than what we were 20, 30 years ago, so how are you finding that at this stage of your lives?
I had a daughter when Sheldon first came. My daughter was only 3.
Right.
And my husband, that's his only one.
Right, okay.
So for the age of 3, my daughter has had to share everything with her nieces and nephews, and she's 28 now. She's never complained, because we just have to get on with it.
Aye.
You know? And when we're going on holiday, we've got to take the kids with us, but then I wouldn't go without them anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. So, additional pressure on new husband, I guess. Was he the father of...
He's the father of a 28-year-old, so I would say that...
Just lean forward a wee bit.
Many men would have walked away because they're not his blood, they're mine. He wouldn't. He's better at it than me, actually. He's more laid back, where I'm shouting and screaming kind, but no, that matters anyway because they didn't listen. So, but we might have had another child, but we couldn't because we had to support her. My daughter, so...
So, How do you adapt into this then when you get that flung upon you? Because it's not like having a baby, planning a baby, having a pregnancy, planning, getting everything sorted, getting a room sorted, getting whatever you need, clothes, everything like that. Because a lot of this sounds like certainly overnight. 1 minute you're a granny, next minute you're a carer.
Well, we had a house up at Baldiesburn because I worked with Fife Council. It was a tied house, and my husband had to adapt a loft.
Right.
So it was like a production line. My daughter was up there, and when she moved out, my granddaughter went up. They all just moved along a bit, eh?
But it's handy he was able to do that, though,
Bob can do anything, it's just getting them started.
Aye.
Doesn't like to start before lunchtime.
Oh, us men are a bit like that.
And then we moved to a 4-bedroom house in Dullock, and they've just got their own room just the same, eh?
Right, okay. What about yourself? How did that affect you, just that switch being switched? I know you're already a mother at this point. What ages were your kids when you... Roughly?
8 and 6.
8 and 6, and then you got I'm sure you told me already, a 3-month-old, was it?
No, I got her for birth.
From birth, right, okay.
But
Wow.
I knew
How does that work? Like,
all the plans had been put into place at about 6 months of the pregnancy,
right.
and they were all finalised.
And is this an addiction pregnancy? Is the person still using, right?
Yeah, it was.
So you're also getting a baby that's essentially an addict, are we? Is that right to say? Is that wrong to say? Correct me, I'm a monkey that knows nothing. So
She actually stopped when she found out she was pregnant.
Right, okay.
But as soon as she had the bairn and I took her on, she went back to it.
Right, okay.
And she had contact once a week with the bairn, and she would come in either out her face on drugs or under the influence of alcohol.
Right. And is that to your home or is that a centre?
No, that was to my home.
To your home, right.
So I then stopped contact because I don't want that around my children, let alone the wee one. She has no contact with her now, which is a good thing because it's not going to confuse her. But going back to a baby stage was like, wow.
And what about rooms and stuff like that?
I did have a
You
spare
had that
room.
time to prepare, I guess, then, right.
Well, I had a 4-bedroom.
Right.
And my son had moved out. So I had a spare room anyway. So she went straight into the spare room, and my 2 girls shared
All right,
a
okay.
room, and then my daughter and her partner had the other room, and then I had mine.
Right. Busy house.
Certainly was.
Can I ask you a question? Did your son and your daughter-in-law agree to you taking the baby? Or were there no choice?
My son did. She did, but she had no choice anyway. It was a case of I take her or she was going in the system.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wasn't having that.
I've certainly seen that in my own family where there was 3 children that if my 2 sisters didn't step up, their kids would have been going into the system as well. What about yourself? How did you cope with all of a sudden you're a live-in granny?
It was quite hard actually to start with, but going by what Catherine said, I was brought up in care myself, and when my daughter, it was a disclosed pregnancy with my daughter, and she was putting the wee one up for adoption, and I was like, no way, because I had experienced it. I didn't want anything belonged to me to go into the system.
Yeah.
So the minute he was born, I was like, no, I'm going for kinship. I hadn't heard about kinship at all. It was one of the nurses that I spoke to in the hospital had said you could go for kinship.
Right.
Anyway, so cut a long story short, I went for it. I was in a 5-bedroom house because I've got 6 kids of my own. I worked full time, but as I say, I wasn't letting them go into the system. And because everything was disclosed, because we didn't want my daughter getting into any more harm than she had been, or the child getting into harm, we had to move from Edinburgh to where we are now, for safety. So I had to get up my five bedroom house, move into a 3-bedroom, give up my job. But I coped with it. I think with having 6 kids already, it was just like...
What was one more?
Aye.
What's one more? And I'm not letting it go into that system.
But because he had to go into the system for 8 months, because of the time they'd done paperwork and done checks and all the rest of it, I had 8 months to prepare for it.
Right, okay. So that 8 months of preparation, what does that involve? Because you've got enough on your plate, to be honest. But are you reaching out for assistance then?
Well, I was, because I had to find somewhere to live.
Right.
Before I could even get him into my care. I had to buy everything that a child needs. Luckily, I was a saver, put money away for a rainy day, but that rainy day came when I took the wee one.
Right.
Money went on him.
Right, okay. So you found somewhere, I guess, in Fife, somewhere, wherever it is, doesn't matter. Was that big enough? No, that was, you went for a 5 to a 3, you said?
It wasn't big enough,
right.
But it was, because then I didn't need to take any of my kids back in when they fall out with their girlfriends or boyfriends.
Well, aye. Nothing wrong with that, teaching them to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yep.
Aye. So, what are we here today? What do we want for this podcast that we're putting out to whoever watches it or whoever shares it? Or what is the point of what we're doing today? Because I'm just the conduit to get it out there, but you've obviously clearly here because you've got some sort of message. And I've, like I've said earlier, I'm just the monkey listening. Yous are teaching me about it. I've got experience it with my own family, but you know, that's family, that's slightly different in my head. But what message are you wanting to get across to whoever watches society or whoever picks up on it?
A lot of people don't know about kinship care or social workers, so family just arrange it amongst themselves. And then that way, if you do that, you don't get any money or help. And some people, even if they're older, they didn't ask for help. They don't want help. They find it embarrassing or degrading because they're asking for help from a certain generation,
Right.
And
you didn't feel you're entitled and all of that,
entitled, and you don't know what help is out there when you're just being handed this children, whatever,
Right.
That you have to involve the social work right away, because when I got my granddaughter at first, there was no involvement, and then after I reported her, things were getting bad to worse, and I had her for a couple of years with no legal order, and I put her to a school where I lived, and it was she just started P1 on that day, and then because me and my daughter fell out again, she went and took her out of the school and enrolled her into a school down at Herbert, and I was heartbroken. And that's when I decided I have to get a legal order, because I can't have her lifting the bairns whenever she wants to.
Right.
You have to be involved with social work and the services.
So there was an element of her wanting her cake and eat it. You can look after them, but I want her when I'm feeling like
she
it.
Couldn't look after them. She couldn't look after the first one, never mind the other two.
So I'm thinking as well, right, I've seen this in the past where there's like, I'm happy for you to look after the child, but I want the finances. I didn't want to give up this. I didn't want to give up that because that's helping my addiction. Is that an element of it, or is that...
No, for me it's no.
No, right.
No, right away she gets nothing.
Right.
And it took me a year to get the child benefits sorted, but she gets nothing, I get everything.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I mean. Why did she not just give that up? You've got the bairn there. Mum, that'll help you, you know. No.
She actually claimed universal credit or job, whatever it was at the time.
So that's
income
then...
support.
Yeah.
And then she had the child benefit and that for a whole year. But I was still claiming the child benefit because I didn't get any benefit because my husband worked and so did I.
Yeah.
But she never once said, "Here, Mum.
Take that for the bairns."
No, she still doesn't.
No.
She still doesn't. And she doesn't see them. They don't know who she is.
Right.
And she will ask, Mum, can you ask Ellie if she wants to see me? And I will ask her every time, and Ellie will say, no. She's never seen them for years. Well, sometimes Lennon will go and see her, but... And then Sheldon, she's 25. Nobody's really interested in her because they don't know her.
Right, okay.
You know, they don't know her. And she thinks she knows them, but she doesn't.
Right. And is any of that done, like, at a, no, I don't know, what are the places, like
Contact
a family
centre.
unit? Contact centre, thank you,
centre,
thank you, yeah.
Lennon's dad, he went to a contact centre in Glenrothes every fortnight
Right.
to see Lennon for a bit, but other than that, they never really bothered, never attended any panel meetings, never showed any interest
Right.
at all, really. Yeah.
Right, so you just, well, how long was the process then for you to get, I'm
It
guessing,
took a year from me.
can you believe they're making a cup of tea or there while we're chatting here?
I hear a kettle.
Can we no hear the kettle? Get it on. Eh?
Start to finish, back in the day, it took a year to get a kinship order. So I just got the two of them at once, Sheldon's and Lennon in 2013. Then I got Ellie's a couple of years later.
Right,
So that gives you all the rights, basically.
right.
And the parents still have parental rights, but they can't do nothing with them, very little.
And to the bairns, to yours, and to the child, is it, are you granny, are you mum, are you, how do they,
I'm
how do they
granny.
breach that?
I'm
Do they-
granny to my face.
Aye,
No, it's like gran.
Right.
I thought, oh my God, I have to go to the toilet and lock myself in just to get a minute.
just to get a minute, aye. What
And
about your, sorry, carry on.
There's been many times that I've lay in my bed over the years, crying my eyes out, thinking I'm going to run away. I can't do this anymore because you're just on your own. Although my husband's here, he's working 12-hour shifts.
Right, I wonder why.
I wonder why. He provides the money, so we. So and then you think, oh, damn, it's so bloody stupid. And you get up in the morning and you just give yourself a shake and you go on with it because nobody can do it for you. You know, and I'm not the best granny in the world, and just have to get on with it. Eh?
Aye, but
And they're lucky. I know people keep saying to me, oh, you deserve a medal, you'll get your reward in heaven. I thought, I'd rather like it the new before I pop off.
aye. So, you know, seeing as you brought up your deal, how's your mental health with this?
I'm fine, I have a few
Well, you said you need to go to the toilet, shut the door to escape
Aye,
it, so...
I know. And I've got a wee hip flask in the
And by the way,
toilet.
I'm not suggesting that you're not strong. I'm just meaning that this will take its toll on anybody.
It does.
Yeah.
It's mostly me, because my husband's that laid back, eh? And I say to them,
I like your husband already, because I'm along the lines. My partner makes me look good all the time.
I say I'm a lady of leisure, but it's just like from 9 till 3, and it's 3 o'clock before you can it.
I just said my partner, I'll get shot for that. I need to correct myself and say my wife
You better.
makes
you
me
better
look
shop
good.
for that, eh?
Aye.
So I had a few issues when I was
Yep.
younger, and I spoke to Louise about them, and I've now sorted every one of them, and I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Right,
It's a shame it came I'm 63, but it's done now, and I probably wouldn't have been ready then.
Right.
But I am now. So.
you are now. And now that you've chapped the door of that demon, it's kind of dealt with.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm a lot better.
Right. What about yourself?
It has been hard. It has been.
Yeah, because you've took a baby, which is all the kids are really young here, but you've took a baby from like birth. Where does that send you? I mean,
It was like a whirlwind.
aye,
1 minute I'm there, and the next minute we've got a baby. All my girls have been great with them. Where, and I've had the support of them as well. But some days, it's just like, what do I do?
aye. And I guess that's where you reached out. Did you reach out to Kinship Care prior to?
No, they come to me.
They got involved through the system, if you like, or through the social work.
through social
yeah.
work, because she was under social work. And then Kinship got involved.
Right.
And we made the plan, and that's how it ended. And it is hard. And we've all done an amazing job
Yep.
to get where we are today.
And what age is the child now?
5.
5. And getting that child for birth, are you mum?
I wasn't.
Is there a like some days it's mum, some days it's gran?
I wasn't on her for a long time.
Right.
And now she calls me mum.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not going to change her because she's too wee. But when the day comes, I will tell her that,
Yeah.
you know, you do have a mum, but
Yeah.
this was the circumstances.
That must be pretty hard, I'm thinking. What age do you deal with that? What age do you put that on the table, you know?
I'm hoping she never asks.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody tells her.
Before you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, is there processes in place with kinship along those lines of when it's a good idea, sort of what you can do to sort of approach that? You're nodding, so maybe you've got more knowledge of that, I don't know, but do you want to go for it?
There is a process with the kinship care about when's the right time. Because my wee one's asking why he doesn't stay with mum. He never mentions dad. Never.
Right.
He's never mentioned it. But there's loads of questions that he's coming up with, and I went to the kinship team, spoke about it, what do I do? And they're saying it's not the right time. I'll follow their advice. And now's the right time.
Yeah.
So it's got to be starting.
Right.
His life story.
And what age? What age?
He's 10.
He's 10, right. So there's your inquisitive age maybe where you're going to get hit with it yourself, you know, you never know.
I don't know.
They're all different. They're all,
she's getting put on the spectrum. She's actually getting assessed just now. So it could be a lot later than 10-year-old.
Right. Yeah. The spectrum. Aye. Now, I seen a sigh round the table there. Not, you know, I live with a child, my wife's son, my stepson, who is on this said spectrum. I'm a bit funny with it because sometimes I get it, sometimes I didn't understand it, sometimes I think I'm on the spectrum and probably have been all my life and not known. I'm dyslexic, you know, I make no bones about it. I've been through addiction, I make no bones about it. I'm 10 years clean from everything. So I'm not here for getting smoke up my ear, but I'm just saying that there's a spectrum element all round that I kind of understand. So for these young wee kids, do you think it's life? I mean, it's difficult to say that that child was affected by the past unless there was some sort of addiction going on while it was in the womb. I don't know. I'm oblivious. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff.
Where was the spectrum 20 years ago?
Exactly. Well, that's what I was getting to. You know, when I was a bairn, there wasn't a spectrum. You know what I mean?
You were a naughty child.
I was a naughty child. I was, you know, a pain in the whatever. And
it was hidden years ago.
It was hidden, you know.
Yeah, it was really hidden.
And then there was an element, it got slapped out of us. Let's face it, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Yep.
Aye, it's a difficult one. So nowadays there is the balloons and badges is what me and a friend would call it. And I've actually got a tattoo on my arm that says no more labels because it's just label after label for everything. But we're of that age where we're like the Gen Xers, if you like, or whatever they want to call us.
It's hard to find a child who's not got anything, who's not on the spectrum these days.
I think that was where I was trying to go. Yeah. It's difficult.
My grandson, he's got fetal alcohol syndrome disorder.
Right.
And I knew, we're still waiting on a diagnosis, but I don't think it really affects him as much as me. He's not got the features, but his memory's shocking. I
have a friend that adopts children and he has two that do have fetal alcohol and the disfigurement and everything's there.
Well, he's
and one,
right. He's not got the disfigurement. He has got it. No matter what you ask him, anything, he says, don't know. What are you doing? Don't know. And at first I thought, I knew it, I'm used to it. And even though he gets a diagnosis and he's 16 and a half now, it's not going to make any difference. You know? I mean, he's got dyslexia. Between dyslexia, the fetal alcohol and the teenage, I can't remember the last time he smiled. But it'll come out that the other end, hopefully. And
you're I keep saying you're one because I'm trying not to name names all the time, right? But is 5. And what indicators are coming forward that you're thinking that there's?
The health visitor notice, development.
Right.
She's slower in her development. If you ask her a question, she'll deflect and ask something else if she doesn't know.
Right.
She has meltdowns. Everything's got to be told to her. So if you're taking her to Asda, you've got to tell her because if you didn't, she ain't getting in that car.
Right. Okay.
And it can be so challenging and so hard.
Yeah. And I guess you're trying to do your best, so I feel for you on that one. Whereas years ago we would have kicked our butt. Mm-hmm. We'd have get in that bloody car or get in, we would have done all that years ago. We can't do that now. Right. Especially if you're a kinship carer, I'm guessing you have to be squeakier than clean. To protect the security, the child, I guess. Right. Negative. That's all been quite positive, but negative. I think we've been a bit schizophrenic on this here so far, because let's face it, we're all schizophrenic in my mind. Aye, we all talk to ourselves. You shut your eyes, who the hell's that you're talking to? So if anybody says to you you're schizophrenic, aye, and so are you, pal.
Definitely.
So let's try and go a bit positive now, right? Where do we drive this? Positivity. What positive aspects are coming out of the kinship care, the job that you do for your grandchild, or essentially your child now?
Giving them a life.
Giving them a life.
Giving them a life.
Mm-hmm.
A good life.
Yep.
Yep.
The best you can give them, and
yep.
doing things with them and taking them on holidays and showing that they are a part of a family and being
I'm listening.
And being accepted as a family and showing them a better life than what they would have had.
Aye. And what about, so kinship care, positive things, what comes from that? Because we keep saying it, we keep talking about it, so what's the positive things that you see for kinship care? In fact, do you know what? What's kinship care getting wrong at the moment in your eyes? And they are in the room, so we can chuck bombs at them, right? Because they've heard it. I'm pretty sure none of you's heard back. But just for our listeners, what's the negative side? Is there even a negative side, or is it all gravy? It's all positive. It's all help, support. Aye.
They've all been involved for a long time, many years, but every single one I've had has been fantastic, even to the day. The help, the advice, the support, I couldn't say a negative thing about any of them.
Right.
Ever.
Right. What about yourself?
A negative thing was when they gave me a worker that bounced off of me. Never mind the burn.
Right.
So
bounced off of you, talk to
just because they were like coming in, it was like, hi! And no, you. But
too positive. Can you be too positive and too happy?
No, it was like my anxiety was through the roof, and I was like, I can't work with this woman.
Right, okay.
So I spoke
you needed
to the kinship.
calmer, slowly report.
I
come in, have a
them.
chat, go away, come in, have a chat, let's get to know each other. No, how you doing? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Right, talk to us.
Aye, so I spoke to kinship and they matched me up with somebody else.
Right. So they're even matching you with kinship carers, right?
Well, if I didn't speak up, I would have still had this worker, and I probably wouldn't have had the bear, and they would have been visiting me in the mental hospital.
So what does the workers, what is the workers, what is the kinship care bubble? What is that, in your opinion? What is it? Is it like somewhere you can go? Is there a lovely room like this where you can go with the rain?
Support groups in different areas, and there's usually one of the kinship support workers there to help you if you need advice, and it's bringing kinship carers together so we can all talk to each other about our problems, or our happy days, sad days. About 100 times I go greeting, but I come out laughing at the end of it.
But there's a shoulder there for the tears.
Aye.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that you can't go to them with, and they'll if one person doesn't know, another one will.
Right. What about you?
Yeah, I go to a group every Thursday, and I look forward to it.
Right, so there's group appointments you can go to as well, right?
It's a group. Our tea and biscuits and cake, and all the kinship carers are there every week. And like you said, if one doesn't know, they'll find out, and there's always a social worker there at the group as well for any help and advice that you can talk privately if you want to. But it's a great help because, like you say, you can go in greeting and you come out laughing because there's always somebody worse off than yourself.
Right. So you could go there, you can take the kids as well, and then you can get that bit breathing space if you need it. Yeah, you can go into another room, have a blather.
I find it better for the kids not to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if there's things being
just wee babies
spoken
there,
about.
Aye.
Yeah.
So it's better there nor there at all.
And
It's
they don't have it during the holidays anyway, so.
Right. So I was getting that wrong there. I was seeing it like I'm a man, right? Forgive me. I was seeing it as like a mother and toddler type group situation. It's no that at all. It's actually for you guys rather than...
It's for the carers.
Right.
A couple of them's got babies and they bring them, eh?
Yeah.
Right,
If
but
they've
it's
got
for
it,
us to express how our weeks went. If we've had a bad week with the kids, then I'll wait till the Tuesday and just lash out at the group.
Right. And I guess you can put stuff on the table as in like, I'm getting hit with this and this and this. Like you 10 years into it, you're 5, it's like are you able to say, well, I've tried this and I've done that worked, that didn't it? And then you can pick up on that, I guess, and, does it help? Does it assist? I'm looking at you, talking to you there, sorry.
I don't know. To be honest, I've never been to a group.
You've not?
No.
Oh, you need to go.
Oh.
You need to go.
Sounds like it.
I suffer from anxiety and
Right,
don't
okay.
leave the house if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I normally manage quite well
Fair enough. Aye.
with
So,
myself.
with the anxiety of going to a group session, I mean, you've came here today, which is quite an achievement, to be honest, and you should be proud of that in itself. Coming here, talking on camera, talking to strangers. I'm a stranger. I guess these girls are strangers as well.
But the workers, I know both of them, so...
Aye, yeah, they're here as well, but that's a huge achievement. So this step in offloading today, if there's anything you want to offload it here. Why no?
Not unless you know a plumber that can be on beck and call.
Sadly, I'm about 4.5 hours away from here. That's where I live. So the plumber I know up there is no good. So, big step, getting here. And you should be proud of that. And, if anything, coming to this today might help you get through the door of one of their meetings. Just for you. Just for you, for 5 minutes, for you to just even offload. Even if you sit at the back of the room and have a cup of tea and a biscuit, you're still in the room and there's somebody to peck on if you fancy it. You might know what to talk to them. You might see somebody that's sitting quiet like yourself and you might elbow them and say, listen, I'm struggling. Are you all right? I'm nobody to be here. Are you all right? It's easy to say, harder to do. But thanks for coming here today. It's amazing. So, next. Kinship carers or people that might be getting into this, they might be having difficulty with sons, daughters that have got children, having children. Yous are the experts. You tell the camera or whoever's listening what's the road to go down, what's the first steps, what worked for you and what didn't, or what didn't work and what did.
Right. Well, I suffered abuse from my daughter for years because she blamed me for years. It was all my fault. And I just had enough of it and I just cut her off. And the rest of the family cut her off because she done something, and nobody ever spoke to her for about 10 years. And it was great.
Right.
And if somebody had says to me I could disown my daughter, I wouldn't have believed them in a million years, but it's the best thing I ever done for my own sanity and for the kids.
Yeah.
And I speak to her now in small doses, and she kind of gets it now, but she wants to come back into the family fold because she says, I've not had a family for 10 years. I said, I've not had a life for 25 years, so you've got a way to go yet.
And where's the addiction now with you?
She was an alcoholic with some drugs, but not a lot. And she doesn't drink anymore. But no much else in her life has changed. She's been diagnosed with a few things that she's had when she was younger, but we couldn't get a diagnosis. So she's got them now, But and I just maybe sometimes we'll go for a coffee or whatever, but very rarely because my 6 hours is precious to me, and I didn't want to share it with anybody.
Right, okay.
And I thought, and I said to her, she said, she was a bit upset. She says, I've got another son, he's 36. And she says, it's no fair, Mum, because my son can just walk into my house any time, And she can't do that. I says, you'll never be able to do that because I've got your kids here. They don't know you. You don't know them, and that's their safe space. So what you're getting with me, a coffee now and again, is it. And there's never going to be any more.
Right.
Because I couldn't put the kids through that.
Yeah.
And I won't.
Right.
So that's it. But I had to cut her off, and it was great.
Right. This 6 hours that you talk about, what was that?
9 o'clock to 3. She's out the door at 20 to 9, and I'm out at the back here. Come on.
Aye.
Away wandering about wherever I go.
Right.
Till 3 o'clock.
Space for you, time
Space
for you.
For me and a
Aye.
day, whatever.
Right. So you meet up with the daughter in between that. That's your 6 hours. Aye.
Sometimes.
Right. I mean, there's a chance, I don't know, that they'll see this. I don't know if they will or won't, but
Bothered.
no bother. Fine.
Nothing I've no said to her.
Nothing you've no said, so nothing to hide, nothing like that. I mean, are used to accepting of that as well, that they might see this. And if there's anything that needs said, it's a forum to do it. It's not the best, because I know a lot of people say things like this should be behind closed doors and all that nonsense, but
You need a brain cell for that, and she hasn't got one.
fair enough. I have a family member a bit like that as well, so if she even sees this, it's the same.
As long as we're not telling lies, that's the main thing.
That's the beauty of this. If it's the truth,
It is the truth,
nothing
and I
can
don't
change that at all.
care what anybody says, it's the truth.
Yeah, aye.
It's not just my truth, it is the truth.
Right. What about the pain you're feeling? There's pain there for each one of you.
Definitely.
Aye.
Definitely.
And how best are we coping with that pain? Because there's a bitterness, there's pain, there's... You didn't ask for this to be put on you, so there will be bitterness and pain because of that. You feel that your life's been held back a wee bit as well.
Probably different with me because I chose.
You chose,
Aye,
aye.
I
Well, I think
chose it.
everybody chose to, aye.
Aye, but
Still must make you feel a wee bit better now and again. I'm not trying to put words in your
aye,
mouth, but...
100%. 100%.
And how do you deal with that?
I struggle sometimes.
Yeah. Keep it to yourself more than let it out.
I'm good at that.
I can tell you just bottle stuff up.
Aye, I'm trying. Well, I'm going on courses to help me.
And you're here today. Huge achievement doing something like this.
So every day's a learning day.
Aye. And if perchance they're out there watching this, is there anything you would say here? Like is it Kathleen? Sorry, Catherine or Kathleen? She's not looking at me or listening.
She's looking at you.
Shona, all right, I'm Shona.
You're Shona. Who's Kathleen?
I'm Catherine.
Catherine. Right, sorry, Shona. Shona says nothing that's not been said. What about yourself, though? What about you? Shona says there's nothing that needs said, done. It's all been said and done. What about you? Just in case.
No, there's...
Water under the bridge?
I've got loads of things that I want to say, but I'm not in the right
frame.
But I'm not in the right space right now to do it.
Right, fair enough.
That's why I'm...
But the box is open, getting dealt with.
I'm struggling with it.
Right.
Sometimes it depends what you're going to say to them, because they never admit it anyway, because it's never their fault.
No.
So it doesn't matter what you say to them.
No, I get it. I kind of understand that. I mean, I was an alcoholic for a lot of years and it was everybody's fault but mine.
Yeah.
Everybody. What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm all right. I'm just out enjoying myself. No, that enjoyment's affecting other people, mate.
But you never see it at the time.
You never see it. You didn't. Do we think that these... You were talking about it, Catherine. Did I get that right, Catherine? Yep. Yes, go me. You were talking about the hidden things as a child affecting... Oh, well, I've lost my train of thought on that. I do apologise, that happens every now and again. I'm getting old, just like the rest is.
I'm only 21.
You're 21? Christ, is this what kinship care does to you?
Take it up as a profession,
I think I will.
Didn't be scared to be a kinship carer.
I think I definitely will. I think I have to. Right, I've got to leave that because I forgot. So, right, kinship carers watching this, people that are getting into it might be interested in seeing what's what. Financial assistance, right? It's the bugbear in the room that nobody ever wants to talk about, but it's a reality of life. That child comes into your world and it's no free to keep them, prep them and get them ready for life. Assistant-wise, I know there's a difference. I know it's getting better. But what assistance do kinship carers, as in yourselves, not the group, not the organisation, what help do you get as individuals? And I'm not, look, ballpark figures, I'm not asking you to divulge your finances or anything like that. Is the assistance there? Is it enough?
It's there, but no, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
No, definitely not enough. They want you to, well, they give you a budget. We'll call it a budget, whatever it is. That's to clothe your bairn, feed your bairn, give them the activities. Have they seen the price of trainers?
Right. Okay.
It's a joke.
So per child, right? So if it's one child, just say, what roughly is the government? Let's not blame the council here because the council are under huge constraints, as we all are. Let's say the government. What do you get for that child to keep that child out with? Is it, what's the thing you get monthly for a bairn anyway? It used to be called child. It used to be child allowance. Yeah. It's family allowance, right? Child benefit now. What do you get weekly for a child now?
£20.
For them said child, you get, I think I get 43 for two, one for the oldest, and
right,
£20.65 or something.
And that's like the old family allowance child benefit thing, right? Yeah. So the kinship thing, what payment are you getting roughly?
But you get your kinship care allowance, but they take the child benefit out of it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So say you get £100 for your kinship, you'll get 40 odd for you'll get 40 odd deducted, you'll get 20 odd.
They only take the highest, so they only take like £20.65.
Right, that gets deducted almost like a tax. Wow. Right.
And if you're on universal credit, it gets deducted too. So basically, you get it in one hand, and it's out in the other hand because they take it away for you.
Right. What about assistance with rent, council tax, mortgages?
You get your
council tax?
Your rent.
Rent, aye. You get assistance.
Of your own benefit, you get assistance with that.
Okay. So, I have friends that adopt children. They have kids of their own that are growing up. So I asked them before the meeting today, and I'm no trying to rub salt in the wounds, but maybe for somebody higher up the tree that's watching this. So if you adopted that child and weren't a family member, weren't a kinship carer, you get £1.05 per hour to look after that child, which equates to roughly £160 a week. And I just got that this morning. I phoned them before you come in, or when you were sitting over there. Right? So roughly, for adopting a child, they get £160 a week. That's just to look after the bairn. They then also get, per child, and he says to me, he's told me the buzzwords, which is, depends on age and stage, 250 to 380 per week, per child, depending on age and stage. Are you getting anything like that?
Nope.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, I didn't mind telling you. I get £840 every fortnight because my two of them are on the highest rate. But I didn't have any benefits, so I just get the full amount. Nothing comes off of mine. Right. So, in my opinion, that's great for my two. But if I
so that's what, £400 a week?
Aye, £420.
£200 each.
Aye.
So again, it's falling into the sort of the 160 that they're getting. It's roughly, and then still a big difference.
It is a big difference, aye. But they've just recently put it up a bit as well because we're getting well lower than that.
Right. Okay.
It was supposed to be up to the same rate as the foster carers and adoption.
How is this? How is that viable? I mean, used to our own.
We've got them 24/7.
Right. So you're claiming nothing because your man's working and everything like that.
I was working then as well, but I'm not new.
Right.
I'm not entitled to anything.
But every county's different.
Every county's different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Right. What's the difference between West and East? Like Edinburgh, Fife?
I don't know. I don't know what Fife get paid. But Edinburgh, I get paid for Edinburgh.
Right. Oh, so right. Okay, fair enough. My friends are in Livy that do the adoption, so that's their rate. It'll be a different rate out there again.
Different.
Right.
There's people in Aberdeen that didn't get paid at all. There's
How's
people in
that?
Glasgow didn't get paid at all.
So is it then down, it's a
The
government
danger.
thing, but it's down to the council
Yep.
level then, right? Okay. So Fife gives you something that sounds no bad.
Bad.
It's no the worst, but you didn't ken because you're getting paid out of it. Aye. What about yourself? The benefit thing, is it the same for you? What you get in one hand sometimes taken away in the other? And aye.
Well, I get carer's allowance for the wee one,
Right.
and they take it off my universal credits.
Is it detrimental though? Or is you still getting more, if you know what I mean? Like, no. So what they take away is detrimental to the support for the...
What they take away is basically, if you get £200 carers allowance, they take that straight off your universal credit.
Right.
So basically, you're not
You're not any better off.
You're not getting the carers allowance because they're taking it off in the other hand.
Aye. Wow.
So that's what the government says. You only need this limit to live on.
Yep.
It's like child maintenance. I was claiming child maintenance off of the three of them, the two dads and the mum, and none of them's ever worked for years. And it was like £29.12 that was coming off my daughter's benefits, and that was for the two when they were younger.
Right.
And if they had fines, if they had outstanding anything, all that came off first before the child maintenance, because they have to have a certain amount to live on, and they can't go below that.
Right.
The child maintenance should be at the top, but no at the bottom. But again, they don't take it off them, but it still mounts up. So they're all thousands, but they'll never be able to pay it.
Never be able to
Never
pay
be
it.
able to pay it, because if she's never worked a day in her life,
Aye. I mean, there's elements of no able to work due to the addictions and stuff like that.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Wow. So, back to our kinship carers that might be watching. Bed of roses, this, eh?
Oh, aye.
You know what I mean?
I want to pick them.
What
But
positives
we
then?
do it for love.
Yes.
Because
yes.
we love the kids. That's the reason we do it. It's not about money. I didn't care if they didn't give me a penny.
Didn't tell them that.
I really didn't, because I love
the love.
every one of my kids, every one of my grandkids, and I've got 13 of them. And it wouldn't make any difference. You make a meal for one, you can make a meal for 6. Aye. So it's... we should get... Everybody should be equal if they're looking after kids. Right across the board. But do it for love.
Yeah. And you're right with what you said earlier. Trainers on the £10, they're no 15 quid. You know what I mean? They're a fortune, and the bairns have got to keep up with the Joneses sort of thing as well. Eh?
Another downside for me is I've got 8 grandchildren, but I can't be a good gran to the other 5, because I've got these 3 and I've had them all their life, eh?
Right.
And the other grandchildren, although they get a lot as well, they see the 3 I've got getting a lot, and I'm saying, but I get money for them. I'm not responsible for you, kindy. Your mum and dad is, eh?
It's hard trying to even that out
And
then, aye.
I can't say, right, I'll have you this night, and I'll take you here, because I can't.
Right. So do you try and take them all to the same sort of
I
thing?
used to, before Ellie came, they're always away all the time. Now I've got to get my daughter to come with her car, so we take them all to the same place, and we still do that. They didn't miss out as such, but it's been hard, because there's times where I thought, right, they 2 were away staying with whatever, their aunties, and then I said, right, I'll go and get the other 2. And my daughter would say, Mum, hey, rest. I said, I can't, because I feel like they're missing out and I'm missing them, because I can't be a good gran to the rest of them, because the pressure with these 3, you know, that as well, eh?
I don't know how you do it. I'm sitting here wondering how these women do this. You know,
You just have to get up, mate, because I wouldn't have it any other way either. I couldn't have them going to care.
right. But you should be assisted, like the people that are volunteering to adopt children. You should have a similar, it should be
Should be.
aye. You know, it should be the same hat for everybody, really. Because if you don't take these kids and they go into care, then that bill goes to that. So why not just get use it? Yeah. You know?
That's a simple answer. That,
Simple,
eh?
too
And we've
easy.
asked that for years.
Too easy. So, do it, don't do it, you've got to do it. You have said yourself that you wouldn't see the children going to care for a second. And I think there's pretty much most families are like that. There's an auntie, there's a mum, there's a dad in there, there's a granny that wouldn't allow the children to go into care. You've said it yourself because you came through the care system, so you know that slightly better than some. So that's a good thing to take to kinship care, because you understand the negative of you no taking the child. Hey, Shona no taking hers, Catherine no taking hers. You see where that child could end up, you know. Where do we want to go now? I mean, we're just about an hour in. It's like time travel, honestly.
Go to the Parliament and just stand outside till they give us money.
Do you know what? I've been to many, many protests, and I don't think they work. I think as a society, we're wasting our time protesting nowadays. Yes, you've got to make noise. Yes, you need to get awareness. But I think all these marches and everything like that, there's a narrative in the media that blanks out a lot of the important stuff. Sadly. Is there anything you want to get off your chest while you're here? We've got this forum. Is there anything you want to say? Any?
Who? Yous? Us?
Well, I did. We said what were they getting wrong, so what could they be doing better? Let's get on to that. That's a good idea.
In my opinion, they're doing everything they should be doing, and they've been great. So.
Right.
Everybody else.
You can't talk for the back of the room. If you're going to talk, you need to come on camera. I know what you're saying. So what could everybody else around about kinship care, around about society as a whole, what more can society do to assist? Like, is there a stigma?
No,
like dropping the weans off at the school and things like that. What do mums, like you're dropping off a 5-year-old at the school, what do other mums think? Is it just granny bringing the bairn to school, or do you chat, or do you just...
There's that many. How many in Fife is there now? Over 800. Aye, in Fife alone.
800 kinship carers. I would have thought it would have been higher. Not that I want it to be higher, but I would have thought about the 800 in Fife alone.
Just in Fife.
Wow. Well, I thought you were going to talk to you guys. Right.
I know that there. Sorry,
Yeah,
I know that there's only 4 kids in the school that the wee one goes to, and they're spotted.
Right.
They're well spotted. And I don't know if it's because it's the grands taking them to school or the taxis that they come in.
Right.
I think something needs to be done about the stigma there. Definitely at that school.
Aye. And do you think, so the taxis to get them to school, why is that in place then? Is that just another form of assistance to save you? Like for instance, you've got 6 of them, so it's easier to send a taxi to get the bairns to school for you. But you're saying that creates a stigma?
Yeah.
Right. How?
So my wee one goes to 2 schools.
Right.
And he gets a taxi in the afternoon.
Right.
And right away, that's a stigma. They're in a taxi for a reason.
Right, so it makes them stand out a wee bit, like having the rank trainers on, basically. But how did you get around that?
That was like years ago. I used to go to school in a taxi because I was in the care system. And it was there back then. Right. Because everybody associates a parent coming to school in a taxi or
with some sort of
somebody
needs.
Else is either got additional needs or they're actually social work children.
I wouldn't ask, and that must be coming for the parents, because kids wouldn't know that.
You're spot on.
So it must come from the parents, and there must be even if they're just talking about it while the kids are in the room on their iPad or whatever, but they're still listening to what's getting talked about. So again, it's society again. Didn't label anybody, didn't put, just because they come in a taxi, it doesn't matter, they're just like anybody else. Or is it the frustration, how are they getting in a taxi and we're no? You're sitting smiling, showing us smiling away like, heard all this, said all this.
I've been honest with the parents in the nursery, they know. I've got full responsibility for Talia, so it makes it a wee bit easier.
Right.
Because they know, thinking, why is Gran bringing her all the time? And by somebody else picking her up.
They need to know that for the contact you in emergencies and things like that.
I had to take
You have to know that the grand's responsible.
I had to take the court order in.
Right.
So they could.
You need
do
that
everything.
sometimes for the hospital, and sometimes when you take them on holiday. I was actually stopped on the way back to see my grandchildren, and this guard was looking at them and looking at them and looking at them, and
Yeah.
I didn't make a joke, but I'm saying to my husband, if I'm taking 3 kids there, I'll not be bringing them back. And he was looking at the kinship order, but
I got horns on my head.
I know, like I'd be stealing a kid.
So I've got a question that was sent to me, right? And it says, on the services of mental health for the parent or carer, right, what services are available for the children through the kinship care? Or is that then shifted over to a different department?
No, there's...
She's lost.
my brain.
It's all right, aye. Want to use what I jump in? What, if you know what's there? Or,
yeah, I've had referrals for the kinship team because my grandson had started smoking weed, and his mum and his dad were supplying him with it and letting him smoke it, and
right.
I was hitting the roof, of course,
Right.
and I asked the kinship care and he was referred, but he has to engage with them, and he wouldn't at the time, and I'm saying to him, there's no way that you're turning out like your mum and dad as long as I've got breath in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to come to a compromise. So with him having the fetal alcohol, he doesn't talk much, so he comes down with this big A4 bit of paper and says, Gran, I found a compromise. I says, what is it, son? He says, just let me smoke weed. I'm saying, no, that will not be happening. No chance.
And so where did you go with that then? Did the services kick in and take them?
A couple of appointments.
Yeah.
The school was helpful as well.
Right.
And they had a psychologist, Maria Og, for the school. She was really good. But they can't really stop him.
Can't
I can't mind the other one. With Dapple, and there's another one as well, but they arranged for appointments with him, but he doesn't talk. He doesn't want to engage.
Right.
So there is help there when you get referred.
And you get referrals. And is that always, would agree with that? You agree that the help's there if you need it? Mm-hmm. Right. Is that a signposting thing, or? It will be, I guess. Right, so training. Is there training? Or is it just here?
Hundreds, every week I'm getting a phone call. I love it. I love it, though.
Right, okay. Training. What are we getting training wise as a kinship carer?
Trauma.
Not that many.
There's that many.
I've done this podcast for about 4 years, and we've spoke about mental health trauma on for years. We went through a guy's whole story, and then we spoke to various other people about it. And the one thing I've learned about trauma is, and this is my own personal opinion and experience, is there's always an act. Something creates the trauma. Trauma doesn't come along and say, all of a sudden you're traumatised. There's an act that creates the trauma. And it's establishing, if we can, what that act is. So, elaborate on the trauma that you're getting educated on. Where are they taking you with that? Why are you traumatised? How are you traumatised?
I'm not traumatised,
right,
but I didn't know that trauma begins in the womb.
Right,
because I've always said that minds were removed at a very, very young age, so they don't have trauma. So, and I still think they don't have trauma.
Right.
So it didn't really apply to mine, some of the courses that I've been on, But you got a free lunch.
You get a free lunch.
I didn't know mine.
You've got the wrong ones.
So support trauma-wise as well. Do you get that for any help with that? Right.
Yep.
So the courses are about trauma.
Aye.
Other things as well.
Aye, different things. Parenting.
Right. Being a modern mum.
And there's one coming up.
Right.
for us as carers. Not for the kids, for us.
And then what's that one? Tell me. Are you allowed to?
Conscious carers.
Conscious carers. What do you think? Do you get assistance, or that? Were you saying that you have that element of you're anxious about various different things in society? Do you get assistance that way? Do you seek it? Do you need it? Or do you just deal with it yourself?
I just deal with the kinship social work, didn't you know?
Didn't you know what? Didn't he say?
No, I manage it myself. I'm quite good.
Right, okay.
Once I see the bairns in the morning, smiles, and that's all I need. Is to know they're happy and safe.
Right.
But you're dealing with the autism and the spectrum.
Right.
That's hard, but...
So you're going through the assessments now that can take a couple of years, can't it? It's not an overnight visit the doctor for 20 minutes.
But I'll deal with it. I've dealt with it for years, so it's nothing... it's nothing that I've not been through.
Right. Okay. Is there anything you two want to ask or pitch in, seeing as you are over there? Because we're at about an hour, and I don't know about yous, but I think we're kind of getting most of it. It's done now, I think. Yeah. But
you were speaking about the training and stuff like that. I've seen the progress you've made. I mean, what is it about the training that you've been going on that you're like, no, I'm really, you're starting to look at yourself, the way that you've acted, how your life's panned out, and you've developed loads of coping strategies, and I can see that.
Yeah.
That's certainly what you say to me.
Every course wasn't for me. I mean, but...
I can certainly see that through...
There's things that I didn't like.
Through not knowing you. You're certainly, I would say, a strong character at the table right now that's like got this and grabbed it. And
I was worried how am I going to cram 25 years in an hour.
Aye. I keep talking if you want. No, keep going. I'm easy.
Linda's the same because Linda's quiet and she'll know
Yeah.
how to say things, but I see you progressing in all areas, like able to ask for things, saying, well, this is the kind of training that I want, so you've been amazing doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Thank you.
And I can see the benefits you've been getting, like the helping children flourish, the one that we were at October. That was really, really good. So and that was like, we had mental health professionals, they were presenting that training, and it was just all about the children. But we've also identified that a lot of this has got to...
See, if I'd have known you were going to come in, I should have chucked a mic over there. Can't keep quiet, I know. But
That's what we like about them.
they can't keep quiet.
They're my voice.
Right. Okay.
I think the only thing I would want you to say, and we did speak about it there, is like, let's pretend that we're talking to the man on the moon about what is kinship. Because
Yeah.
the thing is there's a real lack of understanding what kinship is. So what user carers, user living it, breathing it, do you know what I mean? So how would you, what is kinship and how would you get people to understand it? And when we said it there, it's we're family, we're no foster carers. So that's the only bit that I would say if you could just chat a bit about that, about what do you want the person who doesn't know anything, because that is
Yeah.
the biggest issue with kinship is the lack of understanding of it.
I think we've covered quite a lot of that in this hour, but it's a good point to sort of try and get out, like, say it again, what they don't understand about it, these women do. So, have we got male kinship carers?
Yep.
Right. Oh, couples is right. Okay. Yeah. And it would have been good if one of them had been here today. It would have given us that flip. But so, say that again very briefly, just quickly, what it means to them, kinship care.
What is kinship?
What is kinship care? Right. Aye. It's like the message that yous are sitting here, the reason yous have come here, offered up to get up your morning, part of your 6 hours, by the way, I would say, which I am grateful
I'll
for.
be wanting it back, by the way.
Aye.
I'm part of my 6 hours.
Your 6 hours as well. You do get 6 hours, do you? You don't get a minute. Although the day's a minute. So, aye, put that to the camera then. I mean, the one with the red dot, if you want to look at it to tell whoever it is that's listening.
I'll go first. I think it's, when you take your kids, it's bringing them up and it takes over your whole life. And you have to just be there. And whatever plans you have for your own life has to be put on hold. Not that I was going anywhere or anything, but me being a gran, it's not very positive. It's like, I kind of do matter, but going down the line of the three, then I'm away at the bottom. But then mums and grans are that when you've got their family anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what you're there for, because everybody needs you at some point. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right.
Just give up your life. I didn't feel that they've ruined it in any way, shape or form, because I couldn't live with myself if I didn't take them, But it does have a huge impact on your life, especially when you're about 3.
Right.
You know, and one's 25, and I do hope she doesn't see this because she didn't take a joke very well. I say, well, see if you moved out. That's 1 down, 2 to go.
What about yourself, Catherine? What?
I think kinship is more about a family member taking a child, no matter what age they are, to keep them out of the system, to keep them with family members who are going to nourish them, cherish them, look after them, give them the best start in life, and keep that going till they're 18. It is hard, because obviously you do have to put your life on hold on what you want to do. And like going on holidays, I've got another one to pay for, another one to look after. And a lot of kinship carers will probably find that the child or children they're looking at will probably have additional needs, which then puts extra stress on them.
Yeah.
So it's just making people understand we're all normal people. We're not anything special. We've just done a job.
You've stepped up.
That we actually want to do.
Yeah.
Which is look after the child, whether it be a grandchild, a niece, a nephew. Yes, it's difficult with the parents if you've got to not have contact with them, or they've got to have supervised contact.
Yeah.
That is hard, but you do get the support of kinship on which road to take and where you're going to go. Unlike social work, when they're in the care system, it's all in black and white, and you've got to comply to that. Whereas, as a kinship carer, yes, you've got a kinship social worker, but they're more there to support you and advise you, and not have it written down, right, you've got to do X, Y, and Z, and you've got this meeting to go to and that meeting to go to.
So is social work and kinship care two separate things, or are they blending them when it comes to the kids? Are they sort of like an intertwined?
Social work are involved in the beginning.
Yeah. Or are they is social work the very black and white of it all?
Yeah.
And then kinship care's like, I don't even want to poo-poo this in any way, but it's where, right, okay, let's group hug, let's get this together, let's farm out, let's work it all out. So the social work is the black and white. Because some folk would see the social work as a threat all the time.
But they're not there all the time.
Right, okay.
It depends. Like, I've got parental rights.
And
my social worker left pretty early on.
Right.
After the bairn was born.
Right.
But I still had kinship there.
Right, okay. So it was like a flip over, right. Social work dealt with it up to a point, and then kinship care coming in, assisted for their own. Is that the same all round the table, would you
Once
say?
you get a kinship order, then there's no really any social work involvement.
Right, okay. Is that the same for yourself?
It's so explained when you first apply to take the child.
Because I've witnessed this in my family, so I've not come to this completely blind. I've been trying to keep out of it as much as I can so that any information goes to the right people. What I seen was a very challenging experience for my sister, the first one. Very challenging to even just be there or be able to be there for the children, and then getting the children the help that they need. It seemed to take forever. But then everything all of a sudden came all at once. And I think that might have been, I might be wrong here, I think that might have been the add-on of the kinship care, or the Kinship Caring Society team organisation. Because they battled for years with social work, backwards and forwards. Are we getting the kids? What's happening with the kids? Where are the kids today? what do you mean you're getting the kids back? What do you mean they've sorted their cell out? Because they've clearly know. Because as families, you see a lot more than what, I guess, gets hidden from social work. Very, cleverly, whatever, addiction works in many weird ways and people are very clever at hiding stuff. It just seems so really hard, but then all of a sudden it seems like it's really niched down and there's loads of support. So in the last couple of years, would you say it's got better, Kath?
Yeah,
Would you say it's like just ramped up all of a sudden, or?
The kinship carers are there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you need them, it's just pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone, aye.
And if obviously they're busy or in a meeting or out, they'll text you and they'll phone you back, which is really good. But the kinship also work with the social work,
right,
which is also good as well because they've got them to fall back on if something's actually not right or something's going wrong.
Right.
That'll give you the advice to say, right, don't let it harden here.
Yeah. Because I was going to say that as well. Like,
stop that.
Yeah. So that's your social work that deal with that part, isn't it? Or the kinship care can advise the social work.
The social work can advise the kinship.
Right.
And then the kinship, with them being social workers anyway, they know most of the questions anyway and know.
Right. So does kinship care, and the three years experience, does kinship care follow the child rather than yous? Or is it about yous? It's about yous. Right, okay. You're included in it. Yeah. All right. I think it's admirable what yous are doing. I think anybody watching will think how strong yous are. And I think especially with yourself admitting that you struggle a bit with anxiety, to be here, that's super strong. I'm really proud of that. Yourself dealing with 6 and yourself dealing with years of this. I mean, these are phenomenal women.
Just the normal.
It's no just the normal though. Yous are superheroes. Yous are above normal. Yous really, really are. And I have to say that. Above it. And my family members are the same. They're above it because when are you taking a week? When can the bairn come for a week? And I'm like, oh no, I don't do that. I can't do that. Back to me saying my wife makes me look good because she's the organiser. She's the one, right, we're got to do this today. I'd be like, your man, I'm going to work.
Aye.
You know what I mean? I would. Because I'm a man and I'm no built that way. There's a thing between men and women and we can't be the beautiful carers that yous are. It's like that nature-nurture thing. It's like a guy says...
I don't know.
Aye.
I disagree with that.
Fair enough. That's all right. You can disagree with me. I'm not always right. Far from it.
My partner is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
With the wee one.
Aye. Brilliant.
He knows everything about her. If she's going to have a wee meltdown, he knows he's there. Anything she needs, and he's there for her.
Brilliant.
Which your partner's probably the same. Yeah. There are a lot of phenomenal men out there as well.
Right, okay.
Who will take on other children that's not theirs.
Yeah.
And be the best stepdad.
Aye, I'm a stepdad. I do the best I can, but I was just meaning that on the female side, yous are so much stronger than us men. Oh, or some of us men. Definitely. Some of us men. No all of us. Some of us. Yeah.
No all of them.
No of them. No. Yeah, I'll settle for that.
It's hard too when you didn't get a break because Ellie's got her auntie. Now, Lennon's Napier to go. Not that he would go anywhere, but sometimes... when you first get them, everybody who they go to has got to be kind of vetted and looked into their background before they can to look after them or take them anywhere or something like that. So,
right.
But that's been sorted for years. So
sorted for years.
Yeah. And it's like when she goes just for one day, like a different house.
Yeah.
You can't hear grand. All the time.
All the time.
You can go in the bathroom
and
relax.
I can watch a programme.
Aye.
Because I want to watch Emmerdale or Coronation Street, and that's the time that she wants to come down and show me this new dance. I'm saying, Ellie, see when you're on the Xbox, do I come up and show you my new dance? No. Well, don't show me yours in front of Emmerdale. Wait till it's finished. Then you
Maybe
can
you
show
should.
me whatever you want.
Maybe you should.
I'll probably traumatise
Get
you
off.
there and then.
Yes. Right, listen, let's go to yourself. So, last thing, I think we'll wrap up. I think we've said quite a lot there might be things that we need to put in the description just to add on to what we've been saying. We'll signpost a lot of stuff. I'll get some information off of you to put in the description. If there's anything you're thinking of asking, you better ask it now because I'm about to wrap up.
Well, that's fine. It was just to see it for a professional point of view. If you wanted to ask us anything.
Right, well, I'll tell you what, we'll wrap this and then we can jump in if you want it for half an hour, whatever you want. I mean, I don't worry about anything else. It's about you guys today. It's not about me at all. So, right, I'll ask this and then we'll maybe speak there. So, the camera is the one with the red dot. I would like, if you want to, somebody out there might be watching this that needs your help. And it's just, what would you say to that person? I'll go to yourself first. You know, they're at the darkest point. They didn't know about kinship care. They didn't know where to go, what direction to go. Give them a bit of word of advice from you, your personal heartfelt opinion, to that camera there with the red dot. No pressure.
Aye.
What would you tell them? Because somebody might be sitting exactly the same as you and no ken where to go or what to turn to. What would you advise them to do, wherever they are?
Seek the support.
I tell you what, I'm going to come to you, seeing as you.
I hate
Look at that camera, red dot, and tell that person that might be watching. You spoke up first.
Seek the support. The support is there if you need it. There are other kinship carers and groups that are in the exact same position. It does get easier once you learn the child and get into a routine. But please take all the support that you need to help you get through the time that you're going through just now.
Yeah. Shona, just look at that with the red dot and just say what you've got to say.
I would just say the same as Kathleen. Always get support. Social worker there, and they're there to help you. And they will help you. And there's no shame in asking for social work help or anybody else's help.
If you want to. You've dealt with 6, so you could tell that camera, listen. Just do it.
Never be scared. Just keep going forward. There's thousands of people going through what you're going through right now. Just pick the phone up. Easier said than done, but
Aye. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's easier said than done. Just pick the phone up and just cry out for help, I guess. Yeah.
the louder you are, the better you're heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't that true?
It's very true.
It's very true.
Because
And you don't take no for an answer either.
I'm no one for really speaking out or picking the phone up. And a few weeks, well, a couple of months back now,
That's all right. Aye.
I did need help.
Aye. And do you know how brave you are?
We all need help.
Yeah.
But I did, and I screamed out the loudest I could, and the kinship people were there in a heartbeat, and they're the ones that are bringing me through this hard journey that I'm going right now. Sorry.
That's all right. You've got us all started. Amazing. Listen, let's wrap up.
Get your jumper.
Go for it. Thank you so much. That's quite an emotional end. I'm feeling it myself.
Sorry.
I do believe these women are superheroes, and the men that are out there are also superheroes. Not all superheroes wear capes, but the kinship carers, bloody hell. Adios, amigos. I'm out.